morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley. And welcome to everybody, which cameras? I don't even know. Everybody out there in Zoom land or what, Facebook Live land, whatever it's called, you know, on the interwebs, that kind of stuff. So why don't you all, Joel, help us sing the opening song today, which is God, You Are.
Sounds like it's all God, doesn't it? Good morning, beloved community, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful San Clemente. My name is Judy Chapman, and I am delighted that you are here this morning. It's time to come back home. It's time to come back to the center. We miss you all out there in cyberspace. So whoever you are, whatever spiritual journey you're on, you are welcome here. I wanted to say that I have had several people ask me about our family's log home up in Lake Almanor. And Reverend Karen told me, she says, oh, your dad is protecting it. He put a bubble over it. Well, that's exactly what happened, because the fires have burned all the way around it, up, around, through, and under, and the cabin is safe. So thank you for asking. My heart goes out to all the ones that didn't make it, the homes, and the fires that are burning out of control. We keep them all in our prayers, all the firefighters and all the people that are trying to save our beautiful forests, you know. So while I was up in Nevada City visiting my daughter, I went to the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living with Reverend Raffi Ellis, and he read something at the beginning of their service, and I just loved it. So I gave him my business card, and he sent it to me, and I'm going to share it with you. Just a minute, right there. This is what they say at the beginning of their service, to let people know who we are. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through the practical application of the teachings of the science of mind. We engage in conscious practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, each other, and the world. We experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, our talent, and our treasure. We intentionally promote our community and our teachings. Don't you love that? I thought, who are we? Yes, that is who we are. So I think I'll implement that on our Sunday service, and so we can remember who we are. And now it's time for the flames of faith. We promote this ceremony to produce the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence that we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and the path of peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as practitioner Aidan Greeny lights that last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. And now Aidan will do our opening affirmative prayer, our affirmation, and our declaration.
So a good place for me to start is to remind myself, quoting Ernest Holmes, there is a power in the universe that is greater than I am, and I can use it. And so I acknowledge its existence, its presence, its flow, its consciousness. I acknowledge it as that which has always existed, always will exist, and always does exist. For it has lived from eternity to eternity, and its power and its presence is always present here and now. And I know for myself, and I know for each and every one of us, that we are expressions of it, that we are in it, of it, and from it. That is the essence of our being and our nature. It is the essence of our expression. It is the essence of our love. So knowing this, I know that it is an expression here this morning in this service, by means of Dave, by means of the music, the musicians, by means of the words spoken. And it is that which is doing the speaking. It is that which is singing the music. It is that which is listening to itself by means of us. And it is that which is always, always the highest and best. So I know for each of us here in this service and those watching that the highest and best is our experience. For only the highest and best can be our experience. For it is always, always the highest and best. I'm grateful for these words. I'm grateful for the opportunity to pray. I'm grateful for this teaching. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the experience of life. I release these words into the law, and together we say, and so it is. All right, our affirmation. I hear the still small voice expressing its love through me, and so it is. Beautiful. Declaration of principle. I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is.
Thank you, Aiden. And now I'm delighted to welcome back after a long, long time our wonderful Jennifer Trevor.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be with you. Abundantly, beyond expression. Love you too. And you. Follow the sun, and which way the wind blows when this day is done. Breathe in the air, set your intentions, dream with care. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Yes. With a brand new moon and a brand new sun. So follow the sun, the direction of the birds, the direction of love. Breathe in the air, cherish this moment, cherish this breath. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone, yeah. Brand new moon and a brand new sun. When you feel life coming down on you like a heavy weight, when you feel this crazy society adding to the strain, just take a stroll to the nearest waters and remember your place. Many moons have risen and fallen long before you came. So which way is the wind blowing? What does your heart say? Follow the sun, and which way the wind blows when this day is done.
Oh, Jennifer, Thank you so much, Jennifer. Beautiful. I just saw some friends walk in that we haven't seen in a long time. Welcome back, Bobby and Charlie. Good to see you and family. Wonderful. So, where are we? Okay. Boy, I get it all ready and then it all goes away, you know? Thank you. There it is. I've been on vacation for 3 weeks, okay? So give me a break here. All right. Thank you, Wade. Our theme this year, as you know, is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And I've been talking about that at the beginning of every of the month for what that is. And so the theme for August is a pause for guidance. And I think that's really necessary for us to do. So each week we've been doing a different venue on what is a pause for guidance, because we each need that. And today, our speaker, our guest speaker, will be speaking on G.P.S, Guidance Positioning System. And our speaker today is our very own Dave Friedman. He is a practitioner here at the center, and he's also a life coach. Please give a nice warm welcome to Dave Friedman.
Woo! What a great crowd. Thank you. You know, one thing I noticed that the more people show up, the bigger the crowd is. Every single time, it works perfectly. Guidance positioning system. So GPS, right? And I spent a little time trying to figure out what this meant. Guidance positioning system, because we use it, you know, this global thing. So I was thinking, guitar pick storage. Yeah, that wasn't probably it, right? Though I did get here today using my gasoline-propelled sedan. After this talk, I'll be looking forward to my grilled parrotfish sauté. I'm going to season with some garlic pepper salt and knock back with a fine graped press sauce. Afterwards, I might sit down to a generic popular screenplay. None of those you care about today, I'm sure. Guidance positioning system, also known as the God positioning system. Another word for God is universe, right? So it could be universe positioning system, which would be UPS, which is pretty cool because they deliver all the time. It could be spirit positioning system. You see where I'm going with this? It could be spirit positioning system. But as you might remember, we talked about before, synonyms for God, universe, and spirit. So we're talking about us, right? The Gus positioning system. So what exactly is a Gus positioning system? And it kind of makes me wonder, does Gus, God, if you will, have a plan for us? Then all we have to do is listen. Follow whatever directions, whatever messages happen to come through. Ideas. And aren't we supposed to have free will? I don't know. Do we have free will? I think that we think we do. But quite honestly, those of us on this path or some sort of a spiritual path have heard, if we've heard or felt something and followed, that path down a direction we might not have consciously decided on before, as much it was kind of decided for us. And generally when we do that, we find it to be good. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Here's an example. Some of you may know I sold my window cleaning company, and now I'm a certified core energy life coach. Why did I do that? I was starting to experience something inside I call a niggling disquiet. I think I'm going to trademark that, niggling disquiet. Something's going on here. Something was happening, a still small voice, if you will, that over time became less small, became louder, became bigger. Eventually I had to pay attention to it. And it was mostly talking to me when I was cleaning windows. Now, if it was my kids, I would have said, later. But, if Gus speaks to me, I got to listen to Gus. I also remember that still small voice thing happened to me previously, and I wasn't conscious aware of it at the time, so I ignored it. And the walls came tumbling down. But that's another story. So to finish this one, I did listen. And upon not hearing, but actually listening to the voice, I took what we call that next indicated step, not really knowing where it was going to lead me. Like following that flashlight beam in the fog, just the next step. That's all we can see. It's also called trusting the process. And when that idea of coaching presented itself, it was like, yeah, I felt so right. It was as if Gus said, okay, Dave, we've been waiting for you. Now here's everything you need to make this work. And so far it's been an amazing and very satisfying ride. Have you ever made one of those decisions where you just went, yeah, we got this? There are between 7 and 12 laws of the universe, depending on who you ask and how they're divine. But there are 3 immutable laws that are generally consistent on the top of all lists. Number 1, all is mind, meaning that mind or consciousness is actually the underlying substance of the entire universe. And this consciousness is the mind of the absolute. So we got that one, right? Yes. Thank you. Don't make me go over it again. Number 2 is the whole universe is but a vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves always. Even your seats at some level are vibrating. Even Lorianne at some level is vibrating. Now, this is confirmed by modern day science that everything is pure energy, and the only difference is that it vibrates at different rates. And the only difference between all manifestations of consciousness, be it matter, thoughts, emotions, things, or circumstances, is their corresponding rate of vibration. So we got that one? So we're going to talk about immutable law number 3, the universal law called the law of correspondence, which states that the principles or law of physics that explain the physical world of light, vibration, and motion have their corresponding principles in the etheric, or the universe, also known as beloved, so below. As beloved, as above, so below. And that states that there's always a correspondence between without and within. Also means there's harmony, agreement, and correspondence between the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. Again, what's going on with the outside and the inside. And whatever vibration lives inside of us is mirrored in some way outside of us. We're still good? There's also a part, I was reading through this law, and it says something about repeating patterns repeating throughout the universe. I kind of got stuck on that for a minute, and then it hit me. It was like that joke, I was wondering why that beach ball kept getting bigger and bigger, and then it hit me. Anyway, back to the patterns. When we toss that pebble into the lake, we observe expanding ripples. That's a repeating pattern of vibration. Do you ever notice when you're having one of those, very seldom off days where everything just seems to go, and you're just like, yeah, there it is again. But we also have those good days when everything falls into place, The light turns green at the right time. or red when you want to text somebody, because I know you're not doing it while you're driving. You know, the bread falls down, jelly side up. Everything just flows perfectly. We are in the flow in those kind of events. And when that stuff happens, I want you to actively notice them. Take notice and smile. Celebrate those small victories. The brain likes celebration. It responds positively to feeling good by dropping little pieces of dopamine into your system. So this is one little life hack that we can actually use to reprogram our synergy and our consciousness to live in our consciousness and have our vibration to be in line with the patterns that we want to continue to live in. Ernest Holmes says, from The Power of God, the law of correspondence works from the belief to the thing. If we believe we shall have only a little good will come into our experience. So to continue that thought, he had to write a whole nother book. This is from the Science of Mind book. Hence, it follows, all right, you got to pay attention to this one. It follows that if we believe it will not work, it really works by appearing not to work. Right? When we believe that it cannot and will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does, only it does according to our belief that it will not. Do we get that? Yes. All right, we don't need to touch that again? That was a lot of fun. We have a Science of Mind principle that states we believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us, and we experience this kingdom to the degree that we are conscious of it. To the degree that we become conscious of that energy of heaven that lives inside of us. I was thinking about that for a minute. Becoming conscious. Didn't we come down to this plane with all of our consciousness intact? So how did it get turned off in the first place? Or like I like to say, what up with that? You can break up into small groups later and discuss that one amongst yourselves. Or talk with Mary about it during the conscious connection. Becoming more conscious is really becoming aware of the consciousness within. And I sense this is a path that everybody listening to this is actually on. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful. Because there's nothing but goodness happening when large groups of people work towards becoming more conscious and more present, thereby continuing and contributing their higher vibration to create this world that works for everyone. We know, even though we're all one, we're all wired just a little bit differently. Think of us as all these different kinds of seeds. You know, you shake them all up and you throw them in the ground. And this one's going to grow to a lemon tree, and this one will grow to an orange tree. Down here, it might grow into an avocado tree. That's the same with us. We are all seeds, and you shake them up. And some of us are wired to be dancers, and some of us are musicians, and some are artists. Some are ministers, some are CPAs. And I expect that we could all intellectually figure out a way to do almost anything. But what is it that lights you up? What is it in your space that you really align with? See, if you plug a light bulb into a lower power socket, you're going to get this much light. And if you plug it into a bigger socket, you'll get this much light, right? Why are we here on earth? To give out that much light. So how do you know where to plug yourselves in to put out that much light? It's right here. Plug in to the G.P.S. We have this access inside of us already. This is our plug. All you got to do is plug it in. All you really got to do is turn it on, because we're really already plugged in. Meditation is generally considered to be about the best practice, because when we meditate, we are taking a minute to consciously pause and listen. And we become conscious of that still small voice inside, that one that is providing the true guidance in our life. We did something this morning, and something called a heart math meditation. Really touched on it ever so briefly, but there's this theory, again backed up by some science, that the heart is actually the center of our universe. You feel things here, and you know things here, and the heart physiologically actually is very, very intelligent. And then we think about it, and that messes up the whole thing. So we want to try and get this whole thing in alignment. And that's what we do when we meditate, is we just quiet and we listen. And we listen to become more conscious of it. So I'm going to share with you just a really quick little meditation. This is calming. What happens sometimes is that we're living our lives and it's insane. And we definitely get disconnected. So how do we really quick get right back in? So you can close your eyes or not, but I want you to try this. It's called 4x4 meditation. Take a breath in, count to 4. At the top, hold it for 4. Let it out for 4. 2, 3, 4. And hold that for 4. Do that one more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out for 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold that for 4. And then now you can just resume your regular breathing. How's that feel? Ain't that something? Yeah. So that's just a really quick way. Right before you take somebody's head off, or pull into somebody else's parking spot, you just center yourself. As we listen to that still small voice, or Gus, or whatever it is that you listen to, do you accept it? Because these messages are specifically directed just to us. When you get many messages, how do you do with those? Sometimes we have how many voices in our heads? And do they all talk at the same time? They do, don't they? Which one do you want to listen to? Again, we turn to meditation. We turn to that calming exercise, and we get ourselves focused. Picture yourself as a glass of muddy water. And if it sits for a while, the sediment settles, and what's left is just clear. And when it's clear, we've got that opportunity to actually think clearly and make better decisions. Meditation also allows the expansion of our consciousness, and that quiets the mind and allows us to hear that small voice. The goal of meditation is not necessarily to control our thoughts. It's to stop our thoughts from controlling us. The goal of meditation is not to control our thoughts. It's to keep our thoughts from controlling us. So as we also, a good thing about meditation is as we do this and as we get clarity, we expand our vision, we expand our consciousness, and we expand the bucket that is our life, that we can pour more and more of that good stuff in that we want to experience. I remember it used to be called a bigger mold. In practitioner class, we used to say, treat and move your feet, because you can't just treat. You got to go do something. Remember, Ernest said that we see these results according to the level of our belief. So let me ask you, is your belief big enough? Well, that's what classes are for if it's not. That's what practitioners are for. Because practitioners see for us only the good and only the potential. And unfortunately, a lot of times we can't always see that in ourselves because, we know all of our stuff. We're carrying that all with us. Here's my stuff. Practitioners, they don't see your stuff. They only see what's pure and good. And then they do this for us until we get good enough to be able to do it for ourselves. And it could take a little time to do this. It takes some practice, really, to do anything well. I think the movie, The Secret, as eye-opening as it was to most people, did us a little bit of a disservice. You could just think about something and have it appear. Sometimes I guess it may, but that's because we've already done that work and we're vibrating on that level of acceptance and manifestation. But for most of us, you need to work on that a little bit. But just imagine if The Secret was true and everything we thought about actually happened. Right? Wander through your day thinking about that. If every thought you had just happened. What if, you get back to me. Let me know how that looks to you. When is it time to check our inner compass? When is it not time, really, to check in and see how we're doing? Are we still on the path that we set out for ourselves? Is it still our path? Should we maybe be walking another path? Is there something more that is seeking to be birthed through us? And by taking a moment to pay attention to this, we may see that if we walk down a different path, we can see more. I remember, you take that hike and you say, well, this is good enough. I'm enjoying it. Thank you. Nice day. And you find out later, if you had just gone one more half a mile, the whole world opens up to you. What path are you walking? And if we walk a different path, if we live a different path, then we can be more. But I also want to let you know, if the path you're on is fine, do the work. Where are you? What are you doing? What do you want? If everything lines up perfectly, excellent. Stay on that path. But now you're doing it on purpose. Now you're doing it because you know that this is your path, not just something that you walked into. And how can you tell what path to be on? You're the only one who knows what is best for you. You're the only one who knows your path. You can always talk to Gus. Consult your G.P.S. They presented us with another little practice I'd like to share with you. It's called STOP. Silence, time, opportunity, presence. Go into the silence and take the time to be still and know that Gus is. Know that you are. Find the opportunity to truly experience this silence and then listen as presence whispers its wisdom. And I say listen because sometimes we can hear it, but that don't mean we always listen. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't know any time that I've actually heard it that it's been wrong. I can list a couple of times when I didn't listen and it was right and I was wrong. Some other time, perhaps. Your own small voice can only be heard when you pause from the busyness of life. Everything that's going on without you can be insane. So, as you stay focused on your inner wisdom and listen, and it really doesn't take a long time just to check in. So how are you going to do this? Some people set their phone or their little watchlets. Schedule a meeting. Every day at noon, I'm going to stop for 5 minutes and just have a little silence and sit on that. Maybe even listen to some uplifting music. Read a book. Play some music. Sing a little bit. Anything that recharges you. Anything that gets you involved with your own spiritual path. And even just now, feel yourself in the seat. Push away from the desk a little bit. Feel yourself in the seat. Become present to only what's happening here and now. So what can you do to slow down and make stop part of your day? What will you do? Go into the silence, take the time to be still, find the opportunity to experience it, and listen to presence. And when we find that thing that we are in alignment with, that we have the same vibration as, that lights us up. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes by a guy by the name of Howard Thurman. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what lights you up and go do that. Because that's what the world needs, is people who are lit up. So when you find yourself in that same vibration as whatever it is that lights you up, then it's probably not so much that Gus has a plan for us as much as it is that we've actually plugged into or aligned ourselves with the easiest, most direct path for us to take to live our life in the flow of universal energy. And if that idea that the easiest, most direct path for us to take was suggested by Spirit, it's not a bad energy to have on our team, right? So say this after me. I hear that still small voice expressing its love through me as me. I hear that still small voice expressing its love through me as me. I am as it is. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Dave. I almost called you Reverend Dave again. It just keeps happening. What is that?
I'm okay with that.
Wow, that was fabulous. He gave us so many spiritual practices to
Thanks.
follow. So many great ideas, and he just spoke straight science of mind, didn't he? It was great. Let's give him another hand. Yes, thank you, Dave. And now, once again, Jennifer Trevor.
Thank you.
In my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Yes. In the silence, you won't let go. In my questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will see me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Yes, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, yeah, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. And I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing, 'cause this love will lead me through. God is the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, God is the peace in my troubled sea. You are my light, my lighthouse, oh my lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, oh, I can trust and promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, oh, safe to shore, safe to shore. us. You're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, but you're the brightest. Love will lead us through the storm. Oh, fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest. Love will lead us through the storm. Oh, my lighthouse, yeah, my lighthouse is shining through the darkness, and I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I can trust the promise. Love will carry me through this storm. Safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Beautiful. Oh, I love that song. See, it's all God. Now God's a lighthouse. It's wonderful. Thank you. And such a jazzy song, too. Kind of got me going there. I loved it. It's time for our offering, dear ones. And we have a basket at the back of the room by the door and one over here for you to drop in your donation, your contribution for this week. And if you are out there in Cyberland and would like to share your tithe, your energy, your treasure with our center, with this center, with your center, you can go onto our Facebook page, or you can go to our website and make the donation there, or just simply mail in a check to the office. So let's take our gift in our hand, and we feel its energy. Remember what Dave said. Everything in the universe is energy. Everything. It just transforms from one to the other. So we take this energy, this gift of love, and we transform it into more good, and as it expands. So let us say our affirmation together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and it symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply.
Breathe on me, Spirit, breathe on me. Hear the cry of my heart now, Spirit, breathe on me. Breathe through me, Spirit, breathe through me. Hear the call of my heart now, Spirit, breathe through me. Breathe as me, Spirit, breathe as me. Hear the joy in my heart now, Spirit, breathe as me.
Thank you, Diane. You know, I have visited many, many, many spiritual centers, and I have to say this, we have the best music program in the world. Thank you. Thank you so much, Diane. Thank you to Dave Page, Bill Dixon, Ed Cusby. Wonderful, our wonderful, wonderful band. Thank you to Mary Brogdon in the back of the room and Josh Schreiber, who's on the soundboard today, and Noir, who's on our camera. Thank you so much. And Jennifer, it's lovely to have you back and your beautiful songs. Thank you. Thank you. We love it. And a special thank you to Dave Freeman for his wonderful talk this morning. Really was inspiring. Thank you so much. Okay, today's practitioners are Cheryl Lyman, who is in the back of the room, who has been holding the high watch for us throughout this entire service. What that simply means is that she has been in prayer for us to receive the best of today's service. So Cheryl Lyman, thank you. She is in the back of the room. Aiden Greeny, who did our opening today. He is also a practitioner today, as is Tony Sparks. There'll be two at the tables in the back of the room and one in the Tranquility Room for you to have a taste of what it is like to be with a practitioner. Of course, you can always make an appointment with one of them and have a counseling session with them. Their cards are on their pictures and their cards corresponding are on the wall in the back, so you can contact them directly. Okay, and now it's time to hear from Wade and Kimberly with our invitations for the week.
Order up. Is it lunchtime yet?
Well, after hearing Famous Dave's talk today, I sure am hungry.
Yeah, that talk sure was a sizzler.
Well, if you want to sit around the old Cracker Barrel with 5 guys and gals and give people a pizza your mind, come to Conscious Connection right here in the sanctuary after the service from 12 to 12:30. Get together with Mary and her friends for a brief melting pot about today's topic.
Next week, have a Rise and Shine breakfast when our speaker is Reverend Judy Chapman, and her Baja Fresh topic is Rise and Reemerge. Come and be inspired.
Well, I know I hop on board whenever Judy's talking.
You and all the other farmer boys.
Well, you don't have to be one of the Einstein brothers to take up the habit of book study with Mary. It meets on Wednesday mornings via Zoom from 10 to 11:30 a.m., and the current book of discussion is The Knowing, 11 Lessons to Understand the Quiet Urges of Your Soul.
I bet your issues will fall away like dominoes.
Yeah. Contact Mary Brogdon if you have any questions.
If you feel like you're bouncing around like a jack-in-the-box, come to Shifting Sands, our round table discussion group on Thursday mornings from 10:30 to 12:30, in and out of Zoom.
And if you're feeling El Pollo Loco, we have Coming Home, Awakening to Spirit, a group setting focused on an increased awareness of the love and beauty of our oneness with life. It meets at 8 a.m. on Zoom on, of course, TGI Fridays.
For information regarding our LGBTQ group, hop in your car or take the subway to see Kathy Story or Tony Sparks.
This is where I wanted to make a joke about hot dog on a stick, but Kimberly said we can't do that in churches.
Oh, Wade, you are such a Wiener Schnitzel.
Well, you should know.
Save the date. On Sunday, September 5th, we are welcoming our new senior minister and Dairy Queen, Reverend Alice Reed, to our spiritual family.
Is she from Alice's restaurant?
No, she comes from the Santa Cruz Center. Plan to be here to support her for her first Sunday message as our spiritual leader right here in our own White Castle. We have some very special music planned, so come early. I think it starts at 10:20. Then plan to stay afterwards so we can break bread with our new senior minister.
Wahoos!
No, I'm not sure what they're serving.
Oh. Calling all creatives who want to make a few extra Starbucks, Reverend Karen.
Which?
Reverend Karen is planning on holding the annual holiday boutique when it gets Chili's in December. coinciding with our annual holiday brunch. So if you want to be Haagen-Dazs Limelight, start crafting your beautiful creations to show off your talents and creativity, and sell your creations to our spiritual family during the holiday shopping season.
Well, now I am starving.
Well, let's sing the closing song and head out for food.
Okay.
When I listen, I see clearly. When I listen, I know. When I listen, I find perfect peace. When I listen to the voice of Spirit in me. When I listen, I see clearly. When I listen, I know. When I listen, I find perfect peace. When I listen to the voice of Spirit in me. When I listen, I see clearly. When I listen, I know. When I listen, I find perfect peace. When I listen to the voice of Spirit in me. When I listen to the voice of Spirit in me. When I listen to the voice of Spirit in me.
And I listen to the voice of Spirit in me, and what do you find? You find yourself in there. We are all one. Have a great week. So it is.
So it is.
James on fire today.